get started with our very first conversation. This one could be a bit controversial. In few weeks, the National Assembly will be inaugurated, and on the same day, the elected members will have to decide on who the leaders or presiding officers, as they call them, will be. Over the past days, there has been jostling and intense horse trading, behind the scene works, night meetings, and all what have you has been happening on who should get what and from what part of the country should all of these come from. The balancing equation and all those political considerations. A combination of House of Reps elect members in the minority, they said their minority caucus, have grouped up and are speaking up on their plans on determining how the 10th National Assembly would be shaped. They met yesterday night, very late in the night, at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja. And let me allow you to listen to some part of what they agreed on.
This session is to enable us network, interact, and familiarize ourselves as people that the results of 2023 general election has thrown up as a new face, having numbers that gives us greater strength to deepen opposition politics and democracy. Therefore, we need to realize such and bond for the interests of our parties and the people we are here to represent.
So you heard, they're grouping, they're forming alliance, they're coming together. But first and foremost, let me show you what I mean. You might not be able to understand quickly and easily if we do not put the facts on the table. Let me show you how the figures and what the figures are telling us right now. What does the Senate, what are the figures saying in the Senate, for example? There are 109 seats in the Senate, and so far 102 seats have been concluded, determined, and result, and those candidates returned. The rest of 7 will be concluded on the 15th of April. Now, APC has 55 seats so far, PDP with 33, Labour Party 8, NNPP 2, SDP 2, ABGA 1, YPP 1. In the Green Chambers, which has 360 seats, and this is how they stand at the moment. With 326 seats so far determined, the rest should be determined in the supplementary elections. APC 160 seats, PDP 105 seats, Labour Party 34, NNPP 18, ABGA 4, SDP 2, ADC 2, YPP 1. What a colorful Green Chamber that will be. I'm not sure how that Green Chamber will look this time around, considering it's different, the rainbow colors that we've seen. But in all of this, if you look at the figures, 160 seats, that is what the APC has. If you put together the figures of the other political parties aside the APC, 105 plus 34 plus 18 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 and plus 1, what does this give you? Does it amount to almost a number that APC, or beyond the numbers that APC has in the House of Representatives to have an election? I understand that is a simple majority. That means if you have the highest figure, you become the presiding officer. What does this mean? Who are those people who are jostling? We already know some people who want to be speakers and a speaker and the Senate president. Let me remind you of some. We've gotten, we've had more names now, very much populated now. In the Senate, these are the names that we know for now, those who want to be Senate president. Orji Uzor Kalu from Imo, Jibrin Barau from Kano, Sani Musa from Niger State, Goswe Akpabio, David Umahi, Osita Ezunaso from Imo State, Hamel Lawan from Yobe State, Abdulaziz Yari, Zamfara Ali Ndume from Borno State. Let's go to the House of Reps. Idris Wase is a sitting deputy speaker. Yusuf Gagdi is a 42-year-old lawmaker from Plateau State, North Central Region. Aliyu Betara is another influential member of the House. Sani Jaji, yet another man that a lot of people have been talking about. Tajuddin Abbas, some very interesting names that are coming up. Sada Soli, Benjamin Kalu, Abdurrahman Olawi from Kwara, Miriam Onoha, the only APC House of Reps member from Imo State. These are the names that we know for now. More may come up, but these are the ones that we know for now. All right, let's get to talk about this matter. Tonight, I have one of a most controversial member of the House of Representatives, maybe that we have seen since 1999, a four-time federal lawmaker from Bebeji in Kano State. He was one that led Femba Jabiamila's campaign for the speakership. He was also the first person that came out to campaign for Bola Tinubu. Honorable Abdulmimi Jibrin is one of the conveners of the Minority Caucus of the 10th National Assembly. He's a member-elect, member of House of Reps, member-elect from Kano State of the NNPP. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us. It's good to see you.
Well,
Did I forget that you were a chairman of the House of Reps? You are a controversial man.
No, I'm not.
You remember that you were the one who came up with the issue of budget pardon? That's perhaps one of the most controversial.
Yeah.
So do you agree that you're a controversial person?
No. It wasn't even a controversial issue, was it?
It was, very much.
No, it wasn't a controversial. It was a
It put you in a lot of trouble at the time.
Well, it's in the past.
All right. It's good to see you. And congratulations on winning your election.
Thank you so much.
NNPP. You moved to NNPP. You left the APC, moved to NNPP.
Yes.
Did you see that? I mean, you thought that you could not win in an APC. That's why you left for NNPP, or what?
Well, there was, always has been that affinity and, of course, a long-term relationship with the national leader of NNPP, who actually had hunted me into politics. That's on one hand. Then on the other hand, we weren't wanted in APC. The governor doesn't want a lot of us in APC, and so he practically ensured that he pushed us away. And of course, we went back, we got ourselves together, and we taught him the political lesson of his life.
So you basically fought Governor Ganduje?
Oh, absolutely, because he was fighting us, and he made sure that we got nothing and we couldn't breathe in the APC. And at the end of the day, he cost APC 18 House of Representative members, including about 6 or 7 super members that the country has invested a lot in training them. 4th-term members, all of them lost. Cost the APC 34 state assembly members. And I can tell you largely, some of those lawmakers are quality lawmakers. They lost not because of themselves. They lost because it was a vote against Ganduje.
So is somewhat a popularity contest between a former governor leading the NNPP and the sitting governor?
Oh, straight ahead. It was a popularity contest between Kwankwaso and Ganduje. And of course, everybody understands the ideology of Kwankwaso, where he's coming from, his integrity, love for people, love for the masses, and everybody trusts him. You know, trust is very important in politics. Once people trust you, they do anything for you. So it was a situation in Kano of Kwankwaso versus Ganduje, and the people of Kano have spoken.
But Gandhi has had his way sometimes. He's won elections. He's shown that he has also...
He's never won an election on his own. Every election he's won, it's under Kwankwaso. And the last one, he never won it. And I've said it severally on this program that in 2019, I was in APC. Officially, APC won the election. But in reality, I've said it severally on this program, in reality, Kwankwaso, PDP under Kwankwaso won the election.
That is what you want to believe?
No, that is not what I want to believe. That is what happened. That was the clear case of what happened.
Well, reality is actually what the authorities say, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I said officially, so nobody's going to take me to court. Isn't that official? So what they announced officially, I said officially, Ganduje won. I don't want to even say APC. APC Ganduje won. But in reality, Kwankwaso won that election in 2019. PDP won Kano. 2019.
Let's talk about the business of the National Assembly. You are going back to the National Assembly, a very familiar terrain, one place that you rose to become the chairman of the Committee on Appropriations. That is
Finance
one of
that's
one of the most influential position in the National Assembly.
Yeah.
You are going back there. But being a member of the NNPP, do you think that you're going to get such an acclaim?
Well, I have never been propelled by what I will get. And I'm very sure that even my colleagues, they will attest to it. And one of my weaknesses, and I have tried all my life to learn how to look for something for myself, I've not been able to know how to do that. Perhaps God has blessed me with the skills to know how to help others to get something. So my priority hasn't been what I am going to get, even though I know that I have served the National Assembly so well that with every sense of humility, I know whoever emerges as Speaker will require me to function in a particular position to continue to add value to what is happening. But coming into the House as a very young lawmaker, of course, I was chairman finance, then simultaneously became chairman appropriations. It's quite a difficult thing to do, not more than 2, 3, or 4 that has had that history in the National Assembly. But this time around, we will watch and see what happens. But to be honest with you, I've never been propelled by what I am going to get. That's why you see, even in the previous election, where I led the campaign of Femi, you will understand very clearly that I did not pick any committee. You
worked for Femi Gbajabiamila. In fact, yes. You were the DJ of his campaign.
Correct.
For his speakership ambition.
Correct.
This time around, who are you working for?
That's a very unfair question.
Why is it unfair?
Shehu, I warned you before coming to this program that there shouldn't be surprises. And now you spring a surprise.
No, because...
I would rather, of course, you know that I'm a blunt person and I don't shy away from answering questions. I will rather try to give you a bit of a rundown of the candidates that I believe, or the aspirants that I believe that one of them will become the Speaker, God's willing, and try to look at their strength. And maybe perhaps if you ask me, if as at today we go to the poll, who among the candidate is going to win the election? Those are the kind of questions that I can answer. Of course, you know, the present Deputy Speaker is also is running the present chairman appropriations, is running the present chairman transport, Tajuddin Abbas, is also running Sada Soli, as you've mentioned. Then, of course, Yusuf Gadji. And this, for me, the strongest aspirants. Of course, I understand the guys from the southeast, of course, Miriam, whom I know her pretty well, and of course the chairman, House Committee on Information. Perhaps they're putting in themselves as a standby in case, if in the Senate, a northerner emerge as a Senate president.
Is that possible?
Perhaps they will have.
Is that likely?
I don't think that is. But my personal opinion, let me tell you this. If you look at the entire controversy, coming, of course, the Muslim ticket and everything and the rest, I think if anybody loves this country, anybody that loves this country should not be thinking that the number 3 man should be a northern, again, Muslim. Or it should be the appropriate thing. The correct thing to do is that position should go to a southern Christian. And I believe that anybody who wants it the other way around, he loves himself more than the country.
All right, let's look at...
If you love the country...
I'd like you to fill these...
If you love the country,
fill these
more than yourself.
Diagram. No, I'm talking about the one that has the president-elect, the vice president-elect, and the unfilled position in the National Assembly. So if you can fill these columns, the ones that are open as of now, the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, from your own point of view, Honorable Jibrin, how do you feel this in terms of, you are talking about the spread, the balance of power.
Yeah.
How do you feel it? What do you think is just and fair?
Well, I will tell you something. For me, 1999 is not 2003. But again, you can also say that something was experimented in 1999 and it worked. And assuming I am in APC, I would recommend to APC that you should adopt the 1999
template. So what was the 1999 template?
Let me also tell you something.
Moment. What was the 1999 template?
You see, it could be dangerous when you cut me off. Twice you've cut me off, and I have to go back to that issue. One, I want to analyze to you because you've asked me a question, who is my preference in the speakership, and I want to give an answer to
all right,
to that.
Go ahead.
Secondly, coming back to this, I am saying 1999 is the best. But again, you will have a situation where some contestants would not respect the zoning. And if they do not respect the zoning, I should expect that the APC as a party should understand that even though you are implementing a 1999 formula, you also have to understand that there are circumstances that are unique. I tell you, in all the big candidates, 6 of them, I was just doing an analysis of the 6 of them. All of them, you have 2 of them from Northwest, you have 2 of them from North Central, from Northwest, you have Jaji, you have Sada Soli from North Central, you have Uwase, you have Yusuf Gadi from Northeast, you have Betara, and of course, I've talked about North Central. All of them have basis, justification for being speakers, which I all agree with. The Northwest will tell you they produce the chunk of the vote. What do you use to compensate them? So the speakership is a very good position to say you're compensating the Northwest. The North Central also are claiming they've given the largest number of states, and of course they did that in 2019. They're doing that again now, and they're saying that look, it's only fair you give us. Then, of course, the guy from the Northeast, which is a veteran, which people will say, oh, no, the vice president knows it. But it's a moral issue because in 2019, it is what all of us and APC as a party stood for, even when the vice president was from Southwest. So APC as a party adopted Femi. So you cannot kick out Betara from the race on that basis. Then for the North Central, the minus in that race is that the national chairman is also there from the North Central, but again, you cannot take away Wasi from it. Then when you go to the Northwest, the same thing. But now I will tell you, 4 of them will respect party zoning because I know all of them and I've interacted with all of them. Tajuddin Abbas will do that. We respect the zoning when the party say the
of the APC.
Of the APC. Jaji, he will do that. Yusuf Gadji will do that. Sada Soli will do that. 2 candidates will not respect zoning, even if they are zoned out, and that is Wasi and Betara.
Why do you think they will not?
They will go because I've had conversation with them.
They will
and
go to the floor and test it.
They will go to the floor and test it. And now I tell you something. The party should not be upset with them. It is not largely because of what they want. It is because of the history of support base they've always had, and is so massive. And if you ask me point blank today, no matter where the party do zoning, and you ask me that they go, who is going to it, I'll tell you that Betara is going to have 90% of the vote cast.
Presently now, yes, of the 360 members.
360 members, it's going to have 90% of the vote cast. And that will continue. It will be difficult, except anything extraordinary happen. That will continue until the day of the election. Now, I'm not telling you that that is where I am tilted to. I'm giving you a fair analysis and a picture of what is going on at the moment in the...
All right. So I wanted you to feel this for me, and from your own experience, you're going to be a 4-time member of the House of Reps. So you have institutional memory and you understand the workings of the National Assembly.
Yes.
So look at it now in terms of the way and manner this country is presently. And one thing that a lot of people have said is that the unity of this country is very critical and it's been tested. The fabric of our unity have been threatened and have been stretched. We need to have a balance of power that will satisfy different parts of the country. In that sense, what do you think will work for our nation as it stands right now, beginning from the Senate presidency?
I've told you, if you adopt the 1999 template, it means that the Senate presidency will go to the Southeast. I know a lot of people are going to shout, oh, the Southeast are fighting APC and the rest. Look, for goodness sake, once a president emerges, it is fundamentally right for him to assume the status of the president of the country. That's the whole idea. And of course, there will be genuine argument oh, we gave votes and the rest, what do you compensate us with? There are so many things that you can use to compensate people and make them feel they've been carried along.
Would this be a compensation?
But I believe...
Could it be a good compensation for the Southeast?
Well, I don't know whether they will accept it or not, but in certain instances, there are certain things you do that you will say, I have satisfied my conscience, that I have tried to take the entire country. Many people will differ with me, but I am telling you that this is my opinion.
All right. So if you say Southeast,
that place, few people will come and sit here and tell you this bluntly. That's the fact. You go southeast.
Okay. DSP, the Deputy Senate President.
Of course, if you are using 1999 template, you are talking about North Central.
North Central. Okay. So what about the Speaker?
The speakership, if you are going by 1999 template, you go Northwest.
Okay.
And you may be surprised, maybe the person that I'm even supporting is not from, he may not be from Northwest.
Who are you supporting?
But I'm also telling you.
Who are you supporting?
But I have also
Why are you not answering my question? Who are you supporting?
Now listen, show.
Why is that difficult to answer?
I have also said something to you.
Yeah.
That this is where I think it should be zoned. But I have also told you that 2 candidates have already gone far away beyond zoning. They've gone far. They've gone too far.
Who are those?
I've said it to you that Wasi and, of course, Betara. And it is not only because I understand the history of where they came from, the volume of support that they have from members and the rest. I've also had conversation.
Who are you working for?
Had conversation with them.
Who are you working for?
I'm working for Sheung. I'm working for Sheung. On a serious note, on a serious note, I have a national leader, Kwamkwaso, whom we all love and we defer to. And we'll continue to engage ourselves, and at the end of the day, we'll be able to advise. He'll be able to advise us on what actually we should do.
He's also an experienced.
But this is going to be the dynamics.
Yeah.
For me, I believe that what is safe for the APC is to zone it to the northwest, and the party, even if some candidate goes against it and they defeat the zoning, APC would have satisfied its conscience that, look, Northwest, we gave you this. And there's not going to be grievance against the party.
So you say Northwest for Speaker?
Yes.
Deputy Speaker?
South.
South. Interesting. Let's take a break. But there is something that I'm hearing, and my good friend here will be telling me whether or not it is true. 166 are the minority members now in the House of Reps. 160 APC. I'm hearing that they are threatening that they will produce a speaker against the run of play. That will be a dramatic twist in this whole game. What is Honorable Jibrin and his friend up to? We'll find out after this break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. The politics of the National Assembly gets our attention tonight. 10th National Assembly is the one everyone is looking forward to. This 9th National Assembly is ramping up, and Honorable Abdulmimik Jibrin, a 4th-term lawmaker, has been speaking with us. Former chairman of the Finance and Appropriations Committee, is now House of Reps member-elect from Kano State on the platform of the NNPP. Thank you so much, Honorable Jibrin, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Shehu.
Am I hearing right? If we bring back the information about the House of Representatives, which tells us 160 members elected as of now in the APC, and the total of the members elected in all of the other political parties have come now to 166. So there are more minority members than the ruling party, or they call them the majority party on the floor, which is the APC, 160. What I'm hearing from that meeting of you and your colleagues yesterday is that the minority wants to take over the House. Is that right?
It's not right.
So what is the truth?
Yeah, it's not right. I think there was a slight misrepresentation of what transpired in at the meeting. Of course, we're organizing ourselves. Of course, we also recognize the fact that we are in majority. And hopefully, after the supplementary elections, we've done in our situation room, we've done all our analysis, look at all the various constituencies and the rest, and we still believe that we'll still have an edge. Worst case scenario will be at par very minimal worst case scenario, maybe 1 or 2 members in between. But the most important thing is that in the history, 4 times I've been sworn in as member. In the history of the National Assembly, this is the only time that you have the minorities parties come in with such a large contingent, and most likely are going to even have more members than the ruling party. And because of that, the leadership of the minority parties, a lot of other members, it is not only Jibrin, there are a lot of other members. There are about 6 members or so that are even my senior now in the House, who are 5- and 6-time members. All of us come together and we said, we realize this. It has never happened in the history of this country, and it makes the situation a bit complicated, because the ruling party could say when you go to a party as an individual, they have the edge. But again, when we put our strength together, we are more than them. We are stronger than them. It means that there are a lot of things that we can do with our strength, including electing a speaker. But again, we are so experienced that we understand the importance of a rancor-free process, both the build-up to the election of the speaker, and managing the House. So you don't only look at the election, you don't only look at those things that excite you, you also put the bigger picture on the bar. But I need to answer this question properly. So what we now look at, because the tradition is that the ruling party, when they win the election, traditionally what goes to the opposition party is majorly the Public Accounts Committee, and maybe 1 or 2 irrelevant stuffs. That can be tolerated when you are really the minority. But in this case, where we have what we have coined as the greater majority in social science, because of our influence and numbers, we are no longer minority. We don't refer ourselves as minority when we come together. As individuals, we are minorities. When we come together now, we refer to ourselves as the greater majority. Since we are the greater majority, we want to tell the APC, because, you know, some of us, me too, I'm Aswaju son now. I don't know if does anybody knows Aswaju more than me. So I wouldn't want also anything to put the government in a shake. So we don't want them to go with that toga that we are majority. You are not majority. The minority put together is strong enough. So let's sit down as a house, look at how we intend to run this house. We are coming with our own ideologies, our own policies and the rest, and it is only when you have the authority in the house and the power given to you in the house that you can implement that. So we must look at how we can share power in the house. So this is just a one step towards that direction of sitting to negotiate. But anything can happen if they decide to play an arrogant way. But I also understand that there are a lot of experienced people in their midst that also understand this reality. And so what we've done yesterday is to put ourselves together. It's been a very difficult process bringing all of us together, especially managing our colleagues in the PDP. I know they'll be upset with me, but I'm saying this so that their own leaders will also understand that the bigger problem of PDP in the country might is also raising its head in the house. But we've been able to find a way to manage ourselves, to come together, and we're going to hold ourselves together as
let me get this
clarification.
Let me get this clarification. Is, or you call yourself the overwhelming, the greater majority.
Yes.
That's an alternative word for the minority now. So, are you planning to produce the speaker from your ranks?
There's no plan like that going on.
Okay, so it's clear you have deferred to the APC to produce the speaker.
Yes, and the people are not understanding this. Even when we say, even in an event where the APC refused to sit with us, to negotiate power with us, even at that, when we say we are going to produce a speaker, we are not saying we are going to produce a speaker from the minority. We are saying we are going to pick from the APC who we want and make him a speaker. I think that's where people are getting it completely wrong.
So you could do the Tambuwal effect or the Dogara effect. That's what you're thinking.
It's a possibility, but the ball is in the court of APC,
the APC,
and I'm sure they will not mismanage the process.
And the first thing is the issue of zoning.
Absolutely.
Has the minority thought about what is fair Is that one of the things that you considered yesterday at your meeting?
Well, it is not our responsibility, and I do not think that in any of our meeting until the elections that we will sit to say how should APC do their zoning. What I have just told you today about zoning is my own personal opinion. It does not represent the opinion of the minority.
So what's the major consideration of the minority caucus?
Acceptability, capacity.
You want to be
the
called
person
to the
that
table.
we believe, yes, the person that we believe can do the job, the person that majority of members believe that they can rally around him, he can stabilize the house, he can protect the interests of the minority and ensure and also protect the interests of the majority. He can relate very well with all other arms of government, both the executive and the judiciary. It is that sort of person that the minority parties are looking for.
Have you streamlined? Have you streamlined?
Now, no, we haven't. We haven't.
So
please,
you have.
Don't quote me. We have
not. No, you're going to only be quoted based on what you said.
Yes, we have not, as a minority party, as a greater majority, we have not decided who to support. But even when, I repeat, if in an event, or let me also say in an unlikely event, because I do not believe that having had all these experiences, the APC will mismanage the process and refuse to put its house in order. If in an event that they refuse to do that or they fail to do that, if we say we are picking a speaker, it is still going to be a speaker from their midst. It is not going to be a speaker, because if you pick anybody in our midst, it's still coming from a minority party. We're only a greater majority when we come together. So it is also going to be somebody from their midst. Now, the difference between now and 2015, right? The party in 2015 didn't like the individuals. The president also was clear that, look, this is the person that we want. Now, in this instance, I also know my own personal information. I also understand. I'm a system person. I know what's going on in the system. I know that the party, and of course the president-elect, has no problem with Wasi, has no problem with Betara, has no problem with Yusuf, has no problem with Sada Soli, has no problem. But again, if they zone, they will prefer that you respect zoning. But if zoning doesn't work and some of the candidates decides to go and contest and they win, I do not think there will be a confrontation.
Let me get a few questions out now quickly. The rules, the standing rule of the House does not preclude a minority being a speaker. Is that an outright and specific rule saying only majority party can be the speaker?
Yes, it's explicit.
It's explicit.
Yeah. It's a person, an aspirant will be nominated from the party with the majority of.
Because I'm imagining that
with the majority
I'm
of
imagining
numbers.
You've been involved in working to for the emergence of two speakers in the House, and I thought that you might also put your hat in the ring.
Maybe I didn't even think about that. It is now that I said maybe that is why Ganduje made sure that I got out of APC. It is just now that I'm even realizing that probably I would have also been thrown my hat in it. But it doesn't matter. The most important thing is to serve.
But should there be an election today on the floor of the House? Let's assume we are in June. The House is not inaugurated now. Should there be an election? Who do you think will win?
I actually answered that question previously. If you run the numbers, Betara has an overwhelming majority. If you go to the floor today, he's going to win. In fact, he's going to win by the 95%. Really? Anything can happen along the line to the date of the election. But I am telling you, as a fourth-term member of the House and somebody who has been in the center of two successive speakership race, I can easily interpret what is going on to you and tell you that if you go to the floor, that gentleman is going to win. And unfortunately, even if you zone, the problem with such the zoning is that if you argue that he comes from the zone with the vice president, I'm sure that APC as a party will not advance that argument because they've laid the precedence in 2019. So it's a complicated, it's a bit of a complicated situation.
Now, this is how we wrap up the conversation on this matter. And I like to look at what interests the larger interests of Nigerian people. We've looked at the leadership and the organization and the politics of the National Assembly. But let's look at the interests of the average Nigerian. Do you know that it's being a long-standing agitation of the people of Nigeria that the kind of National Assembly that we have does not portray the interests of the average Nigerian, that it is highly funded, It does little compared to what Nigerians get. It's over bloated, and the funding that goes to it is largely too much. Are you in the minority thinking about the agitation on the minds of several Nigerians? There was a time that there was a very popular agitation about the cutting down the cost of running the National Assembly as the most expensive legislature in the world.
Well, let me tell you something very interesting. There are a lot of agitations. It's even beyond the National Assembly. And talking about cutting costs, it is not about cutting costs in National Assembly. It's cutting costs generally in governance. It's part of what we should focus on. I tell you this, the National Assembly constitutes just 2% of national budget. And you see, sometimes when these issues are put in a public glare, you try to make the public understand this, but we miss the point. We focus on something else. You focus on the micro, you forget about the macro, the bigger picture of what we should focus. I believe that what we should be looking at is cutting costs in entire governance of this country. You open the budget, you look at it, you look at the entire budget of the country, and you look at how you are going to cut costs in every ramification. But I tell you also something. One of the problems that we have is that the country has not been able, even as a country, to appreciate what the function of a lawmaker should be. You have constituents. And so your constituents, rather than assess you from your contribution in the House in terms of bills, in terms of motions and the rest, which is the job of the lawmaker, they assess you from the point of view of the project you are able to bring in the constituents. And that has not changed. So it's a bottom-top kind of a thing.
So
it requires a very serious reorientation.
Yeah. So where do we start from the reorientation?
I don't want to use a revolution, no. Please, before I'm charged of treason.
I mean, the
word you call revolution.
The literal meaning of
revolution in this matter now.
No, hold on. Don't let us misinterpret and let us not take it out of context. So when something is revolutionary, it's something that is unusual, something that hasn't happened.
A revolutionary.
So if
a revolutionary approach.
Let's start with the salaries of the lawmakers. Do you think that is fair for Nigerians that for people that are multidimensionally poor and they have lawmakers earning that kind of money, and they are perhaps the highest paid lawmakers in the world, is it fair on the average Nigerian?
Now, I tell you this, all the parties, I have not attended a meeting of the APC, I'm not a member of the APC, but for the coalition of the minority parties, all of these issues are issues that will come up in our blueprint, in our agenda, and the rest. I don't want to say something that could be misrepresented, but I believe that the minority parties are all in tune with all of these issues, and we are going to take positions on all
we need to go. You don't think that the money that you guys are being paid is too much? No,
what I'm telling you is that the cost of governance in the country completely is too much.
You don't think that the salaries and the money that
money is being paid to me?
No, the lawmakers. You're a member elect.
But you see, somebody is watching on television now. You would think as a member elect and any money.
You've been in the National Assembly.
No, but the way you are saying it, that the money you are being paid, the money I am being paid.
As a member elect,
nobody is paying me money.
The money that you'll be going to be paid is waiting for you. Would you be suggesting that the salaries of lawmakers?
I am telling you that the entire country, we need to see it.
No. Let's not generalize it. Let's not run away from the issue. I'm talking about what the National Assembly members are being paid. Yeah. Do you think that we should cut this to reflect the situation of the country?
When I go back home, I will have to now look again to see what they are paid. The last time I earned the money was years ago, and you understand that. So I'm just coming back.
All right. We just hope that you guys will do good by Nigerians and be able to reflect. You cannot have a flamboyant National Assembly when you have an impoverished people that you are leading. It's not just looking fair.
Yeah, I'm sure
the weight is not balanced.
I'm sure you also understand the antecedent of some of us, what we stood for in the past, our perspective, our opinion about a lot of issues and the rest. And I can assure you that there are a lot of quality lawmakers, especially in this new 10th Assembly that are coming in. And the like minds are going to put themselves together and address a lot of issues. What I keep telling you is that the National Assembly is not only the issue. Let's look at the bigger issue. I've been chairman of appropriations, and you know the issues are raised when it comes to National Assembly. But even at that, I also understand that it is just a percentage of the budget. The bigger problem, the bigger picture problem is not being even looked at by a majority of Nigerians.
Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, thank you so much indeed for your time. I appreciate it. And we're hoping to see when the inauguration will happen and see how the politics plays that. And should you decide to run, let us know. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.